Hey guys, Those Back Pages here. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you're well. Tonight's episode is going to be a little tribute to Rick Grimes. If you're a Walking Dead fan, as you may or may not know, this coming Sunday, is Andrew Lincoln's last episode. So Rick Grimes, the person that The Walking Dead is created for, is leaving the TV show. But I'm going to rewind a little bit. I would say it was around 2012. I had a lull in collecting. Had my fill of cards. And speaking with a friend of mine, Rob, who I had known at that time for half a dozen years or so, he had always been into cards and comics. So he recommended that I read a comic called Invincible. It's like, never heard of that, Rob, but, you're not one to lead me astray, so I picked up the first compendium, which was the first 48 issues of Invincible, and really loved it. And the best way to describe Invincible, it's like almost like Superman and Spider-Man put together without any restrictions that the big two, Marvel and DC, put on creators. How the story is told and such. Highly recommend that book. So I went ahead and after a while I picked up a Invincible #1. Girls, Acne, Homework, Supervillains. When you're a teenager, it helps to be invincible. As you can see, this was released in January of 2003. It's a collector's grade of a 6. Robert Kirkman is the creator. So I said, yeah, man, Rob, I really, really enjoyed, Invincible. What should I read next? He goes, well, I recommend you read this book called The Walking Dead. It's about zombies and the apocalypse, and I said, whoa, hold on. I don't like zombies. Never been into zombies. He goes, look, did you trust me on Invincible? I said, yes. He goes, look, it's not about the zombies. It's about the people. I said, okay. I'll give it a shot. I picked up the first hardcover. No, I picked up the first compendium, which was the first 48 issues like Invincible, and I read that thing in like 3 days. If that. It's totally hooked. And, this is 2012-ish. Yeah, 2012. And so I was like, oh man, I gotta read the rest of these and catch up to the monthlies. So I did, really quick, inside of a week. I think by the time I ordered the books on Amazon and they came in and I read them. So then I went out and added, a couple Walking Dead comics to my collection, as you've seen them before, 296s. And was fortunate enough to, this was, just as right before the TV show was taking off, but I hadn't watched any of the show, and then I watched some of the show and got hooked to that. This is one of my pieces of original art, drawn by Charlie Adlard. This is page 14 from issue number 70. So when Rick and company are getting to Alexandria, you see Andrea with, that's Aaron and Rick. And Rick is, where's Carl? Where's Carl? I said, he's over there playing. So there you see little tiny Carl. And Rick looking relieved. This is my favorite era of Rick. I like to call it the Grimy Grimes era. So I was fortunate enough to pick up a bunch of different pages. This was in 2012. And they were a fraction of what they go for now. They're really cheap, all things considered. Then I decided to, I had an idea in my head that I was going to go ahead and have some of my favorite artists, my comic book artists that I like, go ahead and have them, give them a blank cover and say, hey, go to town. The only prerequisite I have is that Rick is grimy, unshaven, you know, scruffy looking and such. So the first I have a bunch of these, but I'm only going to show a couple because we don't want to go super long. But I had one of my favorite artists, Matt Kindt, who does Mind Management, which I can't recommend enough. I'll do a video on that another day. I had him do his rendition of Rick Grimes, and this is easily the best one I've had in my collection. I mean, the detail in this is fantastic. And yeah, throwing a knife through a walker head. It's just amazing. Next up, I had Ryan Stegman, who's done some Marvel books. Spider-Man, he does Venom currently. I had him do his rendition of Grimy Rick Grimes. And that came out damn good in my opinion. And then, it was last year at the show, I was walking around with Rob, and he's like, did you see Cliff's here? I said, no, I told him, honestly, I don't know what Cliff looks like. So he brought me over to his table, he had a table, I said, hey Cliff, I introduced myself. You know, you have any room on your sketch list? I would really like to get a Grimy Grimes from you. I explained to him what it was, and he agreed to do one. And it absolutely came out amazing. I mean, this is him right here, Cliff Rathburn. He does inking on the book. He's done some back covers. He's done some special edition covers. Oh, this was 2 years ago. I apologize. But this came out amazing. Couldn't have expected more. It's just great. And the last one I'm going to show you in tonight's video is 2013 was the 10th anniversary of the book. And for the first time, Skybound brought Charlie Adlard over. And the only time he's done New York Comic Con was 2013 for the 10th anniversary of the book. So of course everybody wanted to get a piece of art done by him, but only a select few. They had a lottery system, and I was lucky enough to win one. And I told him about the Grimy Grimes project. And he was gracious enough to say, yeah, I could do one of those, no problem. And this is what it looks like. So this is the man himself who does all the interior art, does the covers. Charlie Adlard, he's British. Here you see his name in the middle. So I was lucky enough to get to watch him actually make this from start to finish while standing there observing. It's something I'll never ever forget. Very proud to own that. And my favorite people on the show is Andy, of course, because I'm Rick Grimes for life, but also Melissa McBride, who plays Carol, and I've been fortunate enough to meet her many, many times. And we'll zoom through some photos because we're getting a little long in the tooth here. This is from my first trip to Atlanta in 2014. Walker Stalker gone. Got my Free Negan shirt on back in 2014 when most people had no idea who Negan was. And with Melissa, I tried to keep them interesting, the photos, because I have many. So then the next year, this was, 2015, This is going to hurt, she said. So she took an axe to my head as I was screaming. Then, not Walker Stalker, but in Dallas in 2015, I was able to meet her again. And I said, hey, let's do metal horns. And she threw up a gang sign. It's classic. And what winds up happening is I get people will take this picture and they'll crop me out of it. So there's been times where this has been posted as a picture of Melissa. It is actually, but it's actually my photo. A couple more. I said, all right, in this next one, let's look sad, and because here comes Negan. I think this was 2 years ago. Again, just as Negan was coming into the scene as far as the TV show goes. And last year, on the way down, I picked up a really funny shirt and pants and got into a little bit of character for Halloween and wore this shirt. And I can get you on the naughty list. So I told her about the croppings. She wrote on here, no cropping. It's a little bit of a running theme between her and I. So you got that one. Then this year, last month, I still haven't taken this one out of the plastic, but that's okay. She got to meet Itty Bitty Shitty, who I'll explain about in another video, but this is this year's picture. She wrote again, do not crop. Really get a kick out of that. So those are my Melissa photo ops. Now, 2 years ago, really quickly, Andy photo ops were always go boom, 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 boom. He's very limited time there. He does it for charity. So he's not easy to get. 2 years ago, a friend of mine I was fortunate enough that she gifted me her photo op. A remarkable person. She knew for years I was trying to get one and unsuccessful, and the occasion popped up that I was able to get one. So I go in and I'm fairly nervous, which doesn't happen to me very often, but it does. And I said to Andy, I said, hey, nice to meet you, big fan, blah, blah, blah. Let's take the picture. Okay, they take the picture. I thank him first off, and then all of a sudden the employee who's taking the digital photographs, he says, hold on, one more. I'm not going to say no. Take another picture. So I say to Andy, I said, well, let's do something different. He goes, what do you want to do? I said, well, how about a bro hug? You know, that'll be funny. All right, yeah, that's cool. Let's do that. So here's the bro hug with Andy Lincoln, Rick Grimes. So I took it. I thanked him again for being Rick Grimes, coming and donating his time for charity and such, and blah, blah, blah. So I go out to get the picture, and I said, well, and I go out to the table where they lay out the photos, and sure enough, there were two there with me in it. And I said, whoa, are these both for me? And the guy behind the table said, yeah, you're on it. It's for you. And here's the other one with a classic photo bomb. This was from Michael Cutlets, who played Abraham on the show. So spoilers if you don't watch the show, but he's dead. And he's doing a little cross arm. And you know, Michael and I met Michael again 4 years ago. In 2014 I met Michael, and you know, we do the head nod when we see each other, the hello. And so he happened to be walking by and he photobombed my picture on purpose. So making an epic photo op with a Michael Cutlets Abraham photobomb, and allowing me to get two for the price of one. So yeah, I just wanted to shoot this little, no, it's not so little anymore, but Walking Dead means a lot to me. And so I've been a fan for a very long time. I came from the book first, and then I consumed the show, and I still watch the show. I still like Fear. But I just wanted to give a little shout out to Rick Grimes, Andy Lincoln, and wanted to say to you guys, I mean, there's no shame in rotating your hobbies and collecting. You know, everything goes stale every once in a while, so you rotate it and collect something else. You can go back to it again at a future date. But this is probably going to be one of my longest videos. Well, we're hitting 16 minutes. Oof. Well, thank you for sticking in there. I really appreciate it. I enjoy sharing with you guys. I love the community, and I really appreciate you all. So, as always learning, always enjoying yourself, always sharing your knowledge. Have a great night, and keep collecting.